It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Veruska Anconitano, a distinguished multilingual SEO and localization manager and consultant with an impressive 20 years of experience. Veruska specializes in assisting established brands in expanding their presence into non-English speaking markets. Veruska's expertise lies at the intersection of SEO and localization, where she excels in managing workflows and processes that foster collaboration between both teams. Today, Veruska will share her insights on the topic best practices for incorporating ChatGPT into your SEO strategy. She will guide us through the effective integration of ChatGPT, a powerful language model, into SEO strategies. She will share everything about ChatGPT and how to enhance content creation, optimize user experience, and improve search engine visibility. Please welcome Veruska.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session where I will be talking about leveraging ChatGPT into your SEO strategy and basically leveraging any kind of AI bot into your SEO strategy. Just an intro note, this is not going to be a session where you will get a list of prompts to use or you will become a master on using prompts for ChatGPT or other AI bot. It's going to be an high-level discussion on the process to put in place to start leveraging AI into SEO, the considerations that we have to do, the stakeholders that we have to consider, and most of all, the limits and what we can do with ChatGPT. That being said, let me introduce myself. My name is Veruska. I am a multilingual SEO and localization consultant with 20 years of experience working with companies wanting to enter and break out into non-English speaking markets. I use an approach that leverages sociology, sociolinguistic, and data science in SEO. So it's all about trying to get the most out of SEO for people not speaking English in other countries. I am a certified project manager. I'm Italian and I'm obsessed with processes and pizza. And because I work at the intersection between SEO and localization, I've been called the language Nazi because my main focus when I analyze websites or just strategies or anything like this is always about making sure that we use the exact and correct language for that specific market in order to reach out the customer, the consumer, the users that we want to reach out. Without further ado, let's dive into the topic of this session, ChatGPT. So it was November 30th, 2022 when ChatGPT was introduced. It was kind of a subtle introduction for the whole world. Very few people knew about it at the very beginning. And then the words got out. And in December 2022, 5 days after ChatGPT was officially announced, it's already acquired 1 million users. If you think about the scale of this, you already understand what we are talking about. It took years for Instagram to reach out that number. It took years for Netflix, which is one of the biggest players in the market, in the commodity market these days, to reach out that milestone. So ChatGPT proved to be the breakout that we all needed in our life, or we didn't need. Who knows? After the release of ChatGPT, the explosion of ChatGPT started in January and even earlier, thousands of plugins and services have been released. This has triggered a lot of other companies to wanting to enter the market and wanting to be visible in this field. What happened is that also existing AI services have started to leverage and to level up their game. So Jasper, which was one of the very first AI writing assistant, introduced the chat to answer to what ChatGPT was offering and is still offering to its users. And it's just one of the many. Marketers got crazy, and can you blame them? Can you blame us? You can't, because if something seems so easy to use, seems so doable to leverage in our existing strategies, why not to take advantage of it? And really got crazy in every single niche within marketing. Of course, the biggest industry that was shaken by this was SEO. And the reason why is that we always try to find a way to maximize what we do, minimizing our effort. And it's not something bad to say, it's just what we do. We want to get the most and we want to use the best tools that we can to reach out to get certain results. Search engines went crazy. Bing released the chat, putting Google under the spotlight. What can I do? If I go on both on Bing and on Google, if you are lucky enough to have access to both these tools, these two chats, you can now start discussing and asking questions. And this basically changed the way users and SEO perceive search online. And these things changed again last week, more or less, when Google introduced a new approach to search, which is based on the new AI release. So Google introduced the SG, the Search Generative Experience, and the Google Perspective. So on top of the search, we will now have, in the near future, depending on the countries, we will have a chat style generated AI response to a very specific question. And we will also have other sources that are different from long form content. We will have TikTok videos, we will have more user generated content in the SERP to balance out what is available to the users. This changed drastically the way we approach SEO, the way we approach users, the way we approach search in general, because AI is giving us a big advantage in marketing and SEO, but it's also becoming a common. Let's say it's kind of making it's kind of commoditize the content because it's easier to access and it's easier to create and consume content created by AI. So at this point, what we should do is shift our expertise, our focus, offering more expertise, distinctive voice, and a perspective, and insights that are tailored in a way that can enhance the visibility of a brand. We must become much more creative than we were in the past. We need to find ways to show Google on search engines and most of all users that the content, that the pages that we produce, whether it's a long form content, whether it's a video, whether it's an infographic, it's humanly vetted, humanly created, humanly, let's say, vetted is probably the right words. Otherwise, it becomes everything becomes the same, and there's no distinction between what AI can create and what humans can create. So that comes to the point of this presentation. At this point, we need to learn how to leverage ChatGPT and AI bots in SEO, not just to execute tasks, but to create functional and functioning processes. And when I think and talk about processes, I mean really in which stage of the SEO workload we can introduce AI bot and how. The first thing is basically understanding why we want to use AI and do what I call a background check. First of all, is it safe for my organization, company, small website to use AI? Do I have legal constraints? Do I have constraints from other team? I can use AI for SEO purposes, but what about other teams? Are they using it? Do they feel that it's going to interfere with what they do? Is there any legal implication? Like, for example, if I create content that your money, my money, my life, your money, your life, can I harm people? Can people sue me because I'm using AI? Should I disclose that I'm using AI? why I want to use AI. The background check is the foundation of the process, is the foundation of the reason, and it's the reason why we can or we cannot leverage AI. Second step is to define the strategy. With such a big amount of information, tools, and possibilities open up by AI, it's hard to keep track. And the best way to understand how to and why is to define the strategy. What tasks can be automatized or can be in which task can AI be helpful? What's the outcome I want to get from AI? Do I want to simplify my work? Do I want to scale my work? Do I simply want to introduce a less human touch? And most of all, how do I measure AI usage? What's the number that can I put? What's my numerical outcome? Do I want to create XX number of pages in XX weeks? Or do I want to spike up my traffic? Or do I want help, for example, the localization team, in my case, to translate thousands of pages with SEO embedded in this specific time frame, and what do I want to get out of this? I think a strategy is the second step and is increasingly important, because otherwise we end up doing stuff without knowing why we are doing this stuff. Define the roles. The more we use automation and the more we work close with other teams, the more we need to define roles, because AI is a very, very peculiar field, and we are just at the beginning, and probably this talk will also be vintage the moment you will see it, but roles will always stay the same. So within a team or within an organization, it is necessary to define who is in charge of AI, who is the person who just give the green light to what I want to do. Is there a person? Is there a team? Or can I just go and do what I want and I don't care? Who is going to validate the output and refine it? This is absolutely a peculiar, very crucial step. Everything that AI does needs validation. Who is going to validate the output? Who is going to refine it? Who is going to refine the prompts? Who is going to just say, okay, this is good, we can implement it in our process, or you can implement it. And who is in charge of the last step? Basically, who just says, now it's okay, now the prompt is fine, the outcome is fine, we are ready to publish the page, we are ready to publish the content, we are ready to go. And who is going to monitoring everything that AI is doing and the results as well. No roles, no structure, it's a mess. So you start with doing your background check, deciding if AI is important and can be leveraged. Then you define the strategy, then you define the roles, and finally you can start using ChatGPT or AI in your strategy. But what can AI and ChatGPT really can or do for us in SEO? I have identified a few fields where AI can be extremely useful, and these are just some of the examples. There are way, way more that couldn't fit this presentation, otherwise it would have been taken hours to get to the end. So pre-work tasks. You have a goal to reach out and you start doing your due diligence. How can you have your list of keywords, but how can ChatGPT helps you? Keywords clustering, easy. We were used to write scripts for these, Python scripts or any kind of scripts. Imagine you don't know anything about Python and you want something easy to cluster your keywords without spending too much time doing it manually. Use AI. It can give you a list of competitors. It can give suggestion on the topic based on your semantic and your keywords. It can create semantic association and can help you planning a programmatic SEO in a single language environment, but also in a multilingual environment. Can also help in the executional phase, so the SEO content generation, organization, and optimization. Huge help for writing briefs, for writing title tags and meta description at a scale, and then remember programmatic at a scale, outlines and headings, FAQs, of course, image alt, and rewrite content. These are just very few things that can do. And even if content, AI in content is probably the most used things these days, is still, really, it's not the most overwhelming use of AI, but it is definitely helpful. Technical optimization. Again, we are used to write scripts, we are used to write documentation. How can ChatGPT can help us? It can help us with creating the sitemap, create the hierarchical structure of our website. Imagine you give them a topic and creates basically the SEO structure for your website, taking into account the hierarchy between elements. It's a big help. And especially if you want to bring your website to a new level and you are working with the UX team to create an SEO based structure that is also user-friendly. It can help with internal linking. It can help create and generate href lines and canonical. Big use schema and structured data. Sometimes it's really a nightmare to get these things out, especially if you have to work with a lot of different people. If you can give developer something ready that has been validated, of course, or that it is ready and that they can validate, it's a huge help. And most of all, it speeds up things a lot. Last but not least, link building. And I'm not talking about ChatGPT writing your outreach email or placing links here and there for you. No, it can give you a list of outreaching opportunity, can help you writing the appropriate message for outreaching. And when I say appropriate, I say language appropriate, tone of voice, brand appropriateness, everything basic when you say messaging for outreaching. Can give you a list of resources that you can contact and a list of experts that you could perhaps interview, that you can basically interact with to start building a relationship. And this is, again, these things that I just explained here is just a very minimal part of what we can do. These are basically the basics that we can do with ChatGPT and AI bots, but really the possibilities are endless and the sky is the limit here. It's just putting in place a good strategy. But how do we make sure that this happens, that we can actually use ChatGPT at our advantage in SEO? It's where prompts comes into place. We are all used to prompts by now. We know what a prompt is, and we kind of know how to write one. And the truth is that majority of us doesn't, and we end up, a lot of people end up with answers that are not really good because their prompt was not good. So the anatomy of a prompt is kind of a very high level view of what a prompt should be. But the first thing that you should do, you should always identify the task and the purpose of your prompt. I want you to do this because I want to have this outcome or this output. Then you have to start a dialogue with the AI. You need to provide context, and starting a dialogue means introducing what's your task, what's your purpose, the context, in a very specific way and using clear language, whether it's in English, whether it's in another language. The more specific, the more context, the more you look like you are talking with someone, with a person, the better the outcome is. And I want to give you a couple of examples, very trivial examples of what I mean with bad and good and bad prompts. Imagine, write me a meta description about topic A. Okay, ChatGPT will definitely write you a meta description about topic A. but it won't never be as accurate, as nice, as good as you expect, because you didn't give them any context and information about what's your result and that it should be included in the meta description. This one is a better topic, right? You are an expert in topic A. You're writing an article about topic A. Now I want you to write a description about topic A. It has to be certain length, and that it has to include a CTA at the end. This prompt is extremely, well, it's actually not extremely, it's quite refined and quite in-depth. Provide context, repeat the terms topic A 3 times to make sure that AI understands and gives for sure a better outcome compared to this one, where there was no context, there was nothing asked. Basically, just write me something about topic A. I don't care what, and I don't give you any information about who you are or you are supposed to be. This can also be refined more based on the outcome. You might just say, okay, thank you for this, but I want you to add this, and that. So the more granular you go when you get your results, the better it is. So there are 2 steps to get basically the right prompts and the right outcome. First of all, we have already seen define a clear and well-structured prompt based on your outcome. More specific, the better. Ask AI to execute the task. Write me a meta description. AI execute the task. Then you have to check the output and see, okay, is this doing what I've been asking her to do, or it should be improved? If it's okay, fine, you're very lucky, you were good at writing the prompts, or AI was good at picking it up, so you can start using it. If it's not, it needs refinement. Step 2. The more you use the prompts, the same prompts, the more you can refine it. If it's already good after the first try, again, super lucky. It's almost never happens unless you are a genius. So you need to refine your prompts. And once you're happy, use the outcome and keep using. So iteration is critical here. Measure results. Is it bringing results? And when I say measure, I also mean, is it really speeding up my process? Is making me progressing in what I do in an efficient way? Rinse and repeat. It's a constant refinement. And when you find the trigger, the right trick, it's just a matter of changing the order, just readjusting based on your outcome. But is this enough to succeed in SEO today? Remember what I told you. Google is moving forward a direction where AI is going to be important. Real expertise is going to be important as well. So how are these 2 things going to pan out together? And also, will AI replace human SEOs? Well, AI has a lot of limits. I've been working with neural language for quite a lot, trained also an assistant. So I'm super biased, and there are absolutely limits to AI today. First of all, it's not able to replicate human intuition and creativity. When you give even the best prompt that you can give to AI, whether it's ChatGPT or any other kind of writing assistant, it gives you very often, if not always, plain text that is not appealing. So because it's not intuitive and it's not creative. So it is basically where it lacks the most. If we consider where Google and search engines are going, this is the biggest lack and limit that AI has today. It doesn't show any empathy, it doesn't show creativity. The longer the text is, the easier is to spot the same terms used over and over, the same convolution, the same words repeated. So it's something that very often is not really appealing to read. Lack of accuracy, because every model is trained on a specific set of data. things change rapidly in the world, new discoveries, new researches, everything else. So there's a lack of accuracy, especially in certain industry and in certain niches. It's biased because it's trained on certain data. So it doesn't evaluate the whole spectrum. It only takes things from where it has learned. And again, back to point one, it also lacks expertise and authority. It can write a 2,000 long form content about anything, but very often it's quite basic. So because again, it just scrape here and there. It's just use data from here and there and connecting the dots, which is good, which is a good basis, but it needs refinement. So as of today, based on what we have discussed so far, AI tools can help kickstarting and streamline efficient SEO workflows. It can help you doing stuff that we used to basically do with scripts or with external tools or with a lot of Excel spreadsheets, a lot of chit chats. AI can help you streamline that workflows and think about, for example, keyword clustering, which is one of the biggest, or writing a simple schema markup and stuff like this. But what it lacks today, it's the human touch. So, and that's where we can make the difference as SEO. AI lacks a unique perspective, creativity, and critical thinking that what we should humans, SEO professionals, bring to the table. We should be able to create content or request content creation that are insightful, that are helpful, that include strong recommendation. We can use AI generated content as a basis, but we need to add our own touch to them. We cannot just take them for granted and just publish everything everywhere, because it can be a very short-term strategy that works, but on a long run, you need to establish credibility, not just with search engines, but mostly with users. The moment someone lands on your website and starts reading content that are purely AI written and not really engaging, not really insightful, not really unique and creative, they leave. And the moment they leave, if they start coming and going and leaving, it's a matter of bounce rate, it's a matter of a lot of elements that contributes to how a website is seen and is perceived and how a brand can or cannot grow. Last but not least, again, it all comes to combining AI and humans. That's the only way we can, at least the moment, leverage AI in our processes. We need to know what are its limitations. We need to know what are the things that AI can do, even with minimal support. And we need to know what are the things that AI cannot do without without a big support from us. So the most trivial things, keyword clustering, even if they seems it can be done automatically without human interaction. That's really not the case. Up today, the vetting phase, the analysis phase, the refinement process, and also acknowledging the limits is crucial to succeed, to make sure that we don't just blindly use AI just because it's available, but we use AI in a meaningful way to enhance what we do, to enhance our processes, and at the same time simplify our life in SEO and online, but mostly with someone vetting and refining the information that we got from AI. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this presentation, not very high level presentation on how to leverage SEO and AI. And if you want to connect, you can reach out to me on my website, anconitano.com, connect on LinkedIn, or tag me on Instagram. And I'll be happy to chat with you on this about ChatGPT, SEO, AI, and everything else as well. So thank you so much for listening to this session, and I hope you enjoy it.
That was the exciting presentation by Veruska Anconitano, multilingual SEO and localization manager and consultant. I encourage you to connect with Veruska on LinkedIn to learn more on how to incorporate ChatGPT into your SEO strategy. Connect and ask all your questions.